In Ahsoka, we get a look at the brand new state of the galaxy following the reign of the Empire, with the show hammering home all the inefficiencies and fault in the New Republic, all the bureaucracy, and all of the failure, from the ineptitude on dealing with real emerging threats, and their obvious favoritism towards helping allied systems, to their bafflingly naive approach to dealing with former Imperials. The New Republic has continued to shock us in just how badly they are mismanaging their own government. This is clearly setting up the difficulties they are going to face when handling Thrawn and the Imperial remnants. But this isn't a canon-exclusive problem. In Legends continuity, the New Republic was woefully unprepared for Thrawn's return, and their own idiocracy and political infighting allowed Thrawn to gain so much ground in his campaign that he managed to even lay siege to the capital world of Coruscant. In Legends, Thrawn would explain why he detested the New Republic so much, and he detailed exactly why the New Republic was a corrupt, failing system. It was the goal of Thrawn's campaign to not only take over and conquer the galaxy, but to expose the New Republic for its impotency, and show the citizens of the galaxy why the Empire was the ideal institution. And he was nearly successful in this. So what exactly was the New Republic's problems according to Thrawn? Well, today, Acolytes, we'll have a look and see that these same problems will likely echo into Star Wars canon, and the state of the galaxy could turn in favor of the Grand Admiral. The most important thing about how Thrawn viewed the New Republic comes down to what he actually called them. In Heir to the Empire, we learn that Thrawn refuses to call them by the name the New Republic, but instead still decides to refer to them as a rebellion. In fact, he didn't allow anyone on his ship to call them anything other than the rebellion, and he would become uncharacteristically angry if they were. It was because the Grand Admiral refused to dignify these rebels' new institution by actually addressing them as any form of organized government, because organized is something that they certainly were not. Thrawn insisted that the New Republic earned the right to be called that, and up until this point, they were still the rebellion. This was because Thrawn stated at one point that it is actually because their government was born from a rebellion that they are unable to have a stable political system. When all of their leaders are those who began their careers by resisting a larger power, they aren't completely sure how to run it as an institution, where they are the ones with the power. There's nothing to blame for the state of the galaxy other than themselves, and they were woefully unprepared for the responsibility that comes with running the Republic and the galaxy at large, because leading a rebellion and leading a bureaucracy are two completely different things. Their whole organization is held together and motivated by a common enemy, and when that enemy is destroyed, there is nothing left to unite them. And this is when the selfish corruption begins. Grand Admiral Thrawn saw right through into the weaknesses of the New Republic from the very beginning. The moment we are introduced to Thrawn in Heir to the Empire, he is exploiting the shortcomings of his opponent by using art and past precedents to his advantage. He would continue to do this, not only militaristically, but also ideologically. He would go around to many of the New Republic's vital worlds and exploit their inability to act by taking them over with ease. The preliminary strikes of Thrawn's campaign focused on testing the defenses and resolve of the New Republic, while at the same time gaining vital information and building up his at the time small fleet. The New Republic was far too slow to respond to these threats, not wishing to start another war and being far too cautious. But Thrawn decided to bring the war to their doorstep, and began this by making a public display of their ineptitude. On one very important event, Thrawn managed to destroy the resolve of a system without even needing to break their planetary shield. Thrawn intercepted their call for help to Coruscant, and after conquering the planet, the New Republic could do nothing. He did this repeatedly to many systems, each time with a different objective, but all with the same goal of proving to the galaxy that the New Republic could not protect them. This had the intended effect, as many systems then began to willingly join Thrawn out of fear, and some with the hopes that he would be able to protect them from any oncoming threat. This was only the first problem with the New Republic. They were soft, and they were far too slow. They wanted to resolve things without the use of force, and didn't like the idea of mobilizing their military too quickly, fearing another war. As a result, they were sluggish to respond to attacks. This allowed Thrawn to gain a lot of ground on them quite easily. A major part of this was because of the political infighting that plagued the New Republic Senate Committee. We got to see a little bit of this in the third episode of Ahsoka. None of the representatives are on the same page. They're either cowardly or self-serving, and they're too conservative or unwilling to allocate resources if necessary. and it's unfortunate that people like this are in the Senate because they inhibit the power of the more progressive individuals such as Admiral Akbar, who makes decisive actions. One such senator in Legends goes by the name of Faye Laya, a Bothan senator who constantly undermined the New Republic military, as well as Akbar in an effort to gain more power within the New Republic. He would constantly cause problems with people like Leia and Mon Mothma while playing political games with them. He was the beginning of a new wave of political corruption like the Old Republic had seen, and it now appears as if the senator from Ahsoka will take up that role, who is inhibiting Hera from being able to use the New Republic fleet against Thrawn. Because of this, Thrawn will use this to gain more ground in the New Republic. Effectively, they are staggered, whereas Thrawn is an unstoppable force who is constantly evolving. And it all comes down to the fact that he knows without a shadow of a doubt that all those who serve him are loyal. Loyalty matters a great deal to Thrawn, which is why he's sure to treat his men with respect and kindness. Unlike many of other Imperial officers, Thrawn isn't out for ego, megalomania, or personal glory. The reason that he makes sure that he keeps himself on top is because he knows that there are things that must be done, and that he is the only one that can do them. In a quote, Thrawn explains why there should only be one on top, and why he believes democracy fails, believing in an empire and its emperor. While other voices can advise, there must be one voice to decide, to rule, to be obeyed. Thrawn is always a stickler for ensuring that his commands are the ones to be carried out, but he also rewards and appreciates input and ingenuity. He likes multiple perspectives because it gives him a new way to think through any given situation, just like multiple people analyzing a piece of art. This completely separates him from Sidious and Vader, who believe themselves to be far above everybody else, that they are practically infallible, believing their rule to be the rule, surrounded by stupid worms. Despite the fact that Thrawn has a more totalitarian ideology, he is not evil. Many have stated this before, but it is the general consensus that Thrawn is closer to lawful neutral in alignment than any other category. He has sworn his allegiance to the Empire, which is a totalitarian society, and he intends to make it the regime, since it is the best thing for the galaxy in his eyes. Thrawn at many points criticized the methods of Vader used on his many ships. He knew that ruling by fear alone would only get one so far. One needed to have their subordinates fear their authority, but also respect and understand it. He only punished those who refused to make the intelligent decision. If someone made a decision that was tactically sound, but it ultimately failed, Thrawn didn't punish them for their failure, but encouraged them to continue to think outside of the box, while also adhering to the order that they were given. All of this was to create an environment of mutual respect, hard work, and an attitude of excellence. All of these made for an extremely strong crew of workers aboard his ship, and ultimately the foundations of a powerful empire of fanatical but intelligent loyalists. The thing about Thrawn is that none of this is for his own desire or power. The Grand Admiral treats power as a means to an end, that end being an orderly and a thriving galaxy. He despises the New Republic because they cannot give the galaxy what it truly needs, that is stability. It cannot even protect them, and it is Thrawn's responsibility to prove that. It is his calling. It is not what he wants to do, but it is if he follows what he needs to do. We can see these kinds of impressive results from Thrawn's rule by analyzing the Empire of the Hand, Thrawn's shadow empire that was established in the unknown regions. We released a full holocron all about the Hand, but we will remind you what kind of society Thrawn created and the Hand created. Thrawn made sure the Hand treated enemies with respect, gathering much intelligence before engaging any threat, and emphasized tactical reasoning, and prioritized the safety of his soldiers. The Empire of the Hand also allowed non-human species within their ranks, and they did not rule by fear. This made all the systems ruled by the Empire of the Hand quite happy with their new overlords, introducing to them a new era of prosperity and peace. This in turn made the Hand stronger, as these systems were more willing to give more and serve them. In the end, this completely cut out all the corruption, evil, and megalomania that existed in Sidious's empire, that exist in the New Republic. The unknown regions was protected from pirates and marauders due to the network of systems led by the Hand, far more protected than the New Republic. This, of course, is a stark contrast from the kind of tight-fisted regime that Palpatine had, squeezing his underlings to collapse under the pressure to perform or to die. In a strange sense, we are almost forced to confront the fact that Thrawn isn't entirely wrong. The New Republic is weak. It is indeed still fractured, and it is following the same footsteps of the Old Republic that did need destroying. Thrawn's mission was to ensure the galaxy would be protected against the threat of the Yuuzhan Vong. This was all spurred on by the destruction of his own people, who suffered and died due to their own inability to act. Many cannot accept the moral corners that Thrawn cuts in the name of ultimate peace, and we cannot wait to see if this is the sort of material that is ever expanding upon in the show, and Thrawn's return during Ahsoka. But anyway, my friends, as always, we hope you enjoyed this video, and we invite you to bring your own thoughts and ideas about this in the comments down below. Until next time, my friends, may the Force be with you, and I hope that you're having a fantastic day.